the boats even before they left the dock in this weekend's Schooner Wharf Minimal Regatta.
Oops.
Rules of the offbeat regatta require each team to build a boat from a sheet of 4x8 plywood, 2 8-foot-long 2x4s, a roll of duct tape, and a pound of fasteners. The boaters definitely made a splash in front of spectators gathered to watch the fun. Now in its 27th year, the Maritime Merriment took place off the Schooner Wharf Bar in the Key West Historic Seaport. Prizes were awarded for fastest boat, most creative design, best paint jobs, best costumes, and sportsmanship.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. A lot of fun.
We could do that here with all the lakes.
Yeah, we certainly could. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, 3 students at Clinton High School could for their senior prank.
The Blue Ribbon School funding is gathering to hear from the community about what needs to be fixed.
And the peak of tick season is approaching. How an app will help you stay healthy during these summer months.
This is at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3. 3 recently graduated Clinton High School students are facing potential felony charges after giving students brownies laced with a substance last week.
We're learning what police say was in those brownies and why it sent 2 students to the hospital. Our Madeline O'Neill is back from Rock County with the details. Maddie?
Eric and Susan, it's a senior prank police say went horribly wrong, and now those seniors are graduating into the real world with some real problems. Village of Clinton police say on the last day of school Wednesday, 5 students ate brownies laced with an over-the-counter supplement called Zyrexin, which is marketed as a sexual enhancer. 2 of those students were hospitalized feeling sick and jittery and complaining that their hearts were racing. Police Chief Dave Hooker says the 3 students who made the brownies didn't mean harm, but that doesn't mean they won't pay the price.
It's just a very stupid, unfortunate prank that just really went horribly bad. And unfortunately, that's the thing we're trying to tell these kids is there are consequences for your actions.
Hooker says the Rock County District Attorney David O'Leary will personally review the case to decide whether to press charges, which could be felonies. The school district is responding in a letter to parents and a Facebook post on Saturday saying the prank was an error in judgment that endangered the health and safety of other students. After multiple calls, we still haven't heard back from the district on what punishments students faced. But in the post, the district said it would take a restorative justice approach. And now coming up at 6, we'll hear from a parent upset at how the school handled things.
We will see you at 6. Thanks, Madeline.
A volunteer tutor at Wright Middle School in Madison faces a child sexual assault charge. A group of Wright staff notified district officials back in March they were uncomfortable with the behavior of the tutor, 19-year-old Ellie Malik Medina Lopez of Fall River. Officials said police investigated the issue and filed charges Friday of sexual assault of a child. According to court documents, most of the reported inappropriate actions occurred through Snapchat between Medina Lopez and 4 11- and 12-year-old girls. Medina Lopez sent nude photos to the girls and called them, quote, cutie and sexy, according to the complaint. District officials say he only volunteered at Wright Middle School for this school year. Medina Lopez will be in court June 21st for an initial hearing.
Let's get a first check on the weather now. Gary Canolti is in the Weather Center. Gary?
Susan, I think this is one of the nicest days we've had so far this spring with partly sunny sky, or mostly sunny skies really, and then temperatures very comfortable, just a little bit of a breeze blowing. You can see some cumulus clouds starting to pop up, and eventually we'll probably see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms develop to our north and west that'll come through southern Wisconsin overnight. But right now on Doppler track, nothing really showing up on radar. It'll probably be later this evening. We'll see some showers and storms around the Twin Cities to Eau Claire to Green Bay, and then those will drop southeastward. Low temperatures this morning were on the cool side. Here in Madison, we dropped to 50, but there were some 40s to our north and to our west, and Black River Falls was all the way down to 37 degrees. But high temperatures today were generally in the upper 70s to the lower 80s. Even near Lake Michigan, a westerly wind kept Milwaukee at 81 degrees. Here in Madison, so far we've been to 78, and temperatures have been in the lower 80s over southwestern Wisconsin. Current temperatures are right at those high temperatures for the day for the most part. And as we check out our forecast first, look for temperatures to drop into the upper 50s by early tomorrow morning. Again, a shower or thunderstorm chance overnight. And then tomorrow, look for skies to be partly sunny. our high temperatures topping out in the lower 70s. That's your First Alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary. A truck driver from Janesville faces charges in Illinois for allegedly shooting objects at passing vehicles from his truck with a slingshot. Illinois State Police officers arrested 53-year-old Kevin Casey on Friday. He's accused of using a slingshot and ball bearings to shatter the windows of vehicles that he passed while driving his semi on Interstate 74 through central Illinois. 2 people, including a 3-year-old child, were hurt in incidents. Casey was taken into custody on multiple counts, including 1 count of aggravated battery to a child. The final hearing set to tackle the school funding problem is just finishing up at the state capitol, and now the commission must come up with ways to fix the many issues presented to them.
Many say an upgrade to the school funding formula has been a long time coming, and each student in Wisconsin deserves the same quality education, but the commission has a big task ahead of them. Amanda Quintana has the story.
The Blue Ribbon Commission on School Funding has been meeting with teachers, administrators, and parents across the state since January, all with similar issues: declining enrollment and a need for funding for special education, especially in rural areas.
This school finance formula doesn't serve us well. It's harming our children, it's harming our schools, it's harming our communities.
One of the biggest issues with the state's public school funding formula is the revenue limit. Set in the early 90s, it puts a cap on how much money a school district can get from the state and from local levies.
When you have 2/3 of districts in declining enrollment, those districts are cash starved. They're taxing and levying already to the max. They're doing this to pay operational costs like transportation, utilities, salaries, but they have fewer kids to generate money to sustain their schools.
Superintendent Jill Underley says in the small Pecatonica school district, they can't afford to compete to pay teachers. They can't even pay for air conditioning. Low-income students, English language learners, and special education students are struggling across the state.
When funding is squeezed and class sizes balloon and staff are stretched past their limit, the relationships suffer, and so do our kids.
Madison's Joanne Yonke says for her daughter's special education, the district is reimbursed less than 26%, while a private school would get 90%. These are the stories being presented to the commission, full of lawmakers and school officials. Reasons why the system just isn't working. Now the big task of how to fix it is up to them.
It's difficult, and so the only way you can really make changes is, I believe, with more money.
The co-chairs will now meet with each member individually and then as a group once more to come up with proposals to fix these issues. In Madison, Amanda Quintana, WISC News 3.
The co-chairs of the commission say it's unrealistic to believe all of these issues will be fixed, but they hope to put forward multiple proposals with the hope that the legislature pushes through some of them instead of one big proposal that might get shot down.
The tick season will be reaching its peak in the summer months, and one local lab has created a unique tool to learn more about them. Researchers from the UW Department of Entomology have developed the Tick app, an application that identifies and reports ticks, which will give users helpful information as the tick population grows.
Right now, in June, is when we tend to see the highest population of the immature stages, these nymphal ticks that are so tiny and so difficult to find once they get on your person, and yet they can do most of this disease transmission.
Researchers hope to learn how to limit people's exposure to ticks and Lyme disease by asking Tick app users about their tick encounters over a 2-week period. Already 100 people have downloaded the app.
It is amazing how alone you can feel surrounded by some 40,000 people on a college campus.
But there is an effort at the UW to make sure that people can see the support around them. Our Danica Lewis shares the story of one student taking the time to talk.
Things have quieted down quite a bit here at UW-Madison since spring commencement, but according to a survey of students, more than half will feel overwhelmingly anxious at some point here on campus. Almost 1 in 3 feel depressed to the point where they can't go to class or can't do much of anything else around here. One UW senior, though, is trying to make sure people are coping with that, or at the very least, talking about it. campus drenched in red, you go with the clashing Christmas color and really take it up a notch.
We have had people say, this doesn't match with my backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You can't miss that.
You just kind of roll our eyes and keep going, but...
But it's hardly standing out when thousands of students
3,100 and some.
are making the same fashion statement, a trend started by Conlon Bass.
Lime green's a catchy color, like it gets people's attention.
A lime green bandana tied to a backpack is also tied to a message.
A show of support for someone who might be struggling, who might not be getting that support from somewhere else. Just seeing a bandana, that's one person that cares about me on a gigantic campus.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Fact is, any student who is struggling is far from alone.
By the time a UW-Madison student will graduate, 1 in 10 will have at least considered suicide. And that's crazy to me that it's that high of a number. That's 10% of a 40,000 person campus. And like, it's nice that people are actually talking about this stuff now.
Yeah, it is. Conlon knew the compassion on campus runs deep.
Have you heard of the bandana project before?
I actually have.
He just needed to give people a way to show it.
So yeah, you can just tie that on your backpack.
Like, really show it.
I had to. Yeah, I couldn't not care about this stuff with all the stuff that my family and I has gone through.
When Conlon was a freshman in high school, his uncle took his own life.
And there's a lot of guilt involved. It causes those who are left behind a lot more pain, I'd say.
Then, in his senior year, Conlon lost a friend to suicide as well.
They didn't see an end to the pain, and escaping that pain was more important to them than pretty much anything. And what I remember most on those days is the response from my family, just having them be there for me, having us be there for each other.
Together, they realized they weren't alone in their grief.
Until I was affected by it directly in like one of the first major events of my life, I'd say, I just didn't really know that it was as big of an issue as it is. Having the bandana on your backpack just means that you carry a few resource cards. Well, I'm not grateful for everything, but I definitely think that good things have come from it. Seeking help is normal, and it's becoming something that more students can do more freely.
Through the chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness on UW-Madison's campus, Conlon started the Bandana Project, a way to encourage the conversations many people don't want to have.
I think a lot of people are reluctant to talk about suicide just because they're afraid they might say the wrong thing or ask the wrong question, but it's always better to be talking about it, removing the stigma. Having the bandana just means that you carry those cards and you're willing to be a resource if you're ever approached for them. So
each bandana comes with resource cards listing places to go for help and ways to talk someone through some of their struggles.
So having the bandana just means that you carry them and you're willing to pass them out if you're approached.
If nothing else, Conlon wants the students, the staff, even the most popular guy on campus.
Thank you so much, Bucky.
Thanks, Bucky. To know there's always someone willing to talk.
I had people say that seeing the bandanas on campus was a really strong show of support in a time when they really needed it. Super simple, yeah. And I think like that's plenty.
Conlon's Army of Neon, 1,000 strong and growing.
Thank you for signing up.
All right.
If I think about it too much, I'll get emotional talking about it, but
so mental health becomes a movement no Badger can miss.
Just every time you see one on a backpack, it just brightens your day. Because again, that's somebody who cares and somebody who's on campus to help make a difference, and that's not nothing, it's better.
Lime green does happen to be the color of mental health awareness. Now, Conlon has helped launch successful efforts on the University of Minnesota's campus, as well as Iowa State University. He says if your college campus, your high school, your middle school, even a community group wants to start up their own bandana project, his team can help. At the UW-Madison campus, Danica Lewis, WISC News 3.
Boy, way to go, Conlon. Impressive young man. And as always, you can find expert advice on suicide and other mental health topics from our friends at SSM Health on our Time to Talk page. Just go to channel3000.com/timeforkids.
Still ahead on News 3 at 5, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a baker who refused to make a cake for a same-sex wedding, what that ruling could mean for future cases involving refusal of service.
And emergency officials continue to search for survivors after a volcano explosion in Guatemala.
Well, before we go to break, a solid Monday of gains on Wall Street. The Dow up 178 points. For the NASDAQ, that is a new record high close, 7606, climbing 52 today. The S&P added a dozen. We'll be right back. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a Colorado baker who refused to make a cake for a same
rights were violated when a Colorado Civil Rights Commission ruled against him because he refused to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding. Phillips says same-sex marriage violates his Christian beliefs.
Though I serve everyone who comes into my shop, like many other creative professionals, I don't create custom designs for events or messages that conflict with my conscience.
The court's ruling did reaffirm protections for LGBT rights and left open the possibility of future cases involving refusal of service could be decided differently.
President Trump is insisting he has absolute power to pardon himself in the special counsel's Russia probe, but constitutional experts say that assertion is not accurate. The president's legal team trying to avoid a subpoena from special counsel Robert Mueller, forcing Mr. Trump to testify before a grand jury in the Russia probe. The notion of a self-pardon was raised back in January in a letter from Trump's attorneys. It argued the president could, quote, terminate the inquiry or even exercise his power to pardon.
Like every other official in the United States, he has to obey the United States Constitution, and pardoning himself is not consistent with his obligations as President of the United States.
The last Justice Department memo on the subject reads, quote, under the fundamental rule that no one may be a judge in his own case, the president cannot pardon himself. Crews
in Guatemala continue to look for survivors after the eruption of the country's volcano of fire. Officials say so far 62 bodies have been recovered following the eruption, and only 13 of those bodies so far have been identified. The head of the country's disaster agency had previously put the death toll at 33, but warned that it would go higher. The volcano west of Guatemala City staged an explosive eruption Sunday, burying surrounding areas in hot ash and mud that gave residents on the volcano's flanks little time to escape.
We turn it over now to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti, standing on the backyard patio where you've seen plenty of sunshine out there today, Gary.
Well, this is one of the nicer days I think we've had so far this spring, with temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80, but with low humidity. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. You can see we've had plenty of sunshine for the day today. There have been some clouds starting to develop to our north and west. Eventually, we'll start to see a couple of showers and thunderstorms pop up there, and those will move southeastward across the state tonight. But right now, that hasn't happened. On Doppler track, things pretty quiet across Wisconsin, most of the upper Midwest. By tomorrow, there'll be some more storms developing to our north and west. You can see on the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center some threat for some severe weather over northwestern Minnesota. And then on Wednesday, look for at least a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms over western Wisconsin, mainly Wednesday night, as showers and thunderstorms develop in Minnesota and Iowa ahead of warmer and more humid air mass that'll be heading in our direction for the end of the week. Live view from the Quebe Radio Skycam in Platteville. Boy, that is a nice looking picture. Lots of clear skies, just a few fair weather cumulus clouds there. The WISC Skycam, again, lots of sunshine, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Well, lots of sunshine on the Capitol as well. As we check out the almanac for today, high temperature 78, the low temperature 50, very close to the averages of 75 and 52. And right now we're at 78 degrees. Skies are partly sunny. Winds are out of the west at 12 miles per hour. Notice the dew point temperature, though, at 51. So the humidity at 39%. That's why we're not expecting widespread rain for tonight. Temperatures range from the mid-50s up near Lake Superior to temperatures that are mainly in the 70s and 80s here. Today, the lake breeze is on the other side of Lake Michigan. Notice Muskegon at 65, while Milwaukee's at 81, thanks to westerly winds here. But eventually, those winds will shift around to a northerly direction. You can see that already happening up around Superior. So that's why we're expecting the thunderstorms to develop over northern Wisconsin and then eventually track southeastward right along and ahead of that cold front, which for us, it really won't amount to much more than a wind shift and temperatures dropping by a couple of degrees. But on weather track, you can see pretty quiet weather through much of the country. Some showers and storms to the south. Over the Pacific Ocean, also a pretty quiet weather pattern, but notice the upper level winds mainly from the southwest. So we're definitely going to start warming up as we head toward the end of the week with high temperatures closer to 80 or a little bit above. And on weather track, you can see cold front to our north and west. North of that front, International Falls right now is at 67 degrees, but south of the front, Minneapolis at a balmy 85, and temperatures are around 90 over parts of the western high plains. Dew point temperatures, though, are not terribly high, so that's why we're not expecting a lot of precipitation. 57 for the low tonight, partly cloudy skies, a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Then tomorrow, tomorrow, partly sunny, a little cooler. Wind shift around to the northeast, and the high temperature drops to 72. On future track, you can see a threat for a shower or thunderstorm tonight. Those should move out of here by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, we're back to partly sunny skies with high temperatures in the lower 70s. For tomorrow night, clear skies, low temperatures dropping to the upper 40s and lower 50s. And then on Wednesday, look for partly sunny skies, high temperatures in the mid 70s. Now, it looked like there was a chance of showers and thunderstorms. The air is still pretty dry on Wednesday, but we should see a better chance for showers and thunderstorms Wednesday night, and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There'll be a chance of showers and thunderstorms all 3 days, but a relatively low chance. So much of the time, it'll be dry with high temperatures in the lower 80s. As we head into next week, temperatures get a little warmer, humidity levels come up, and we'll see better chances for showers and thunderstorms toward the end of the week. As we look at first alert traffic, seeing some slowdowns right now on the Beltline. That's the live view from the DOT camera at Rimrock Road in the Beltline. Slowdowns in both directions between about Monona Drive and almost back to Verona Road. Also some slowdowns on Highway 12 heading north out of Middleton, and then southbound on I-3990 through the Edgerton area, through the construction zone, some slowdowns there. So we're seeing travel times right now about 21 to 23 minutes in either direction on the Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate, and about a half-hour trip from the Beltline down to Janesville on I-3990. Heading out to Sauk City on Highway 12, about 19-minute commute. And Sun Prairie is the easy spot today, 15 minutes on US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
Still ahead on News 3 at 5, how a new treatment put one patient with metastatic breast cancer into complete remission. The story next. Stay with us.
Away.
A promising experimental treatment has left a Florida woman's advanced breast cancer in remission.
Researchers at the National Cancer Institute have put a patient with metastatic breast cancer into complete remission using a new approach to immunotherapy. Dr. Steven Rosenberg and his team sequenced the DNA of one of her tumors to find which mutations were unique to her cancer. They then found the tiny percentage of her immune cells programmed to recognize those mutations, grew them into large numbers, and then injected them back into her bloodstream.
You take a patient's own cells, you attack their own cancer with their own cells, and you attack a unique mutation that's present in their cancer and none others.
Well, much more study is needed, researchers say, because all cancers have mutations. This approach could potentially be used to treat many different forms of cancer.
Apple is revealing new technology, including features that can help you cut down on screen time. Apple is providing new ways to use their products less. Features in the upcoming iOS 12 software update will let you manage your screen time. If you feel like you're using a certain app too much, like a video game or social media, you can set limits on it, and you'll then receive a reminder to stop using the app. Parents can also monitor their kids' usage. Google released similar features last month at its conference.
And we'll have one more check of your forecast when we return. Stay with us.
Beautiful evening out there.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a breeze blowing. Temperatures are pretty comfortable, 78 right now in Madison. A little warmer to the west, a couple degrees cooler to the east, but take a look at this 7-day forecast. Partly sunny, 72 for tomorrow. We'll get a chance for a shower or thunderstorm tonight, but tomorrow, Wednesday during the day should be dry. Shower or thunderstorm chance Wednesday night, and then a chance of showers and thunderstorms Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but there will be plenty of dry hours there as well. It's not a complete washout. Sunday and Monday, sunny, less humid, and then a little more humidity next week, and temperatures get back into the mid-80s.
All right. Thank you very much, Gary. Thanks for joining us at 5. We'll be back in 30 minutes with News 3 at 6, and the CBS Evening News is next. Stay tuned.